Good morning, grade sixes. Welcome to your daily lesson of mathematics brought to you by WorksheetCloud. I hope you guys are all really well today and looking forward to today's lesson. A reminder of the email address on your screen, grade6@worksheetcloud.com. Please feel free to use it to send me any feedback, questions, queries, or perhaps there's a topic you'd like me to cover, and I'll be happy to do that moving forward. Today, as you can see on the screen, we are going to be looking at problem solving. So worded questions. We're going to read through a whole bunch of questions and work them out. And in my experience, it's one of the areas that school children struggle with the most, being able to read a question, figure out what the question's asking them to do, apply a correct calculation, check their calculation, make sure they haven't left out any parts of the question that needs answering. I believe that one of the biggest reasons for this being a troublesome area is because we don't read enough anymore these days, and the ability to read, understand, and decide what to do is a very learnt skill. So I encourage you guys to read as often as possible. And when it comes to maths, we've already done an examination technique lesson. And one of the things that I hammered home to you was you need to read the question a minimum of 2 times, so twice. And you need to make sure you fully understand and comprehend what the question's asking of you. So that's our main theme today, problem solving with addition and subtraction. We have our warm-ups and mental arithmetic questions covering previously learned principles, and then our challenges to end the lesson off with. So let's get into our warm-up for today. You'll notice that there's brackets and there's a mixture of operations, so it's really important to remember the order that you do operations in. By now I'm sure you understand that you need to let me know what the value of each symbol is, and then the pink question mark at the end, you need to figure that out as well. Press pause, work through it slowly, methodically, write everything down. It makes, when you write things down and you can see it, it makes your thoughts and your processes a lot clearer and more understandable. And then press play to see how you guys get on. The best place to start is on the third line, okay? And we know that 2 take away 1 is equal to 1. So the pandas are equal to each other, so I've assigned them a value of 1. Let's see if that works out. I'll go to the fourth line, and the hippo is going to be equal to 8 minus 4 minus 1. I said the panda was 1. We do the brackets first, so 4 minus 1 is 3. So 8 minus 3 is going to be equal to 5. So the hippo is equal to 5. Okay. I then go to the top and I know that the kangaroo and the crocodile minus 1 must equal 5. And then if I look at the second line, the kangaroo minus the crocodile is equal to 0. So I know that the kangaroo and the crocodile in the top line has got to be equal to 6, because 6 minus 1 is 5. And if the second line says that if you subtract them, they're equal to 0, then I'm assuming that they're both equal to the same amount. So that same amount is going to be 3. So 3 plus 3 is 6, and 6 minus 1 is 5. And we know 3 minus 3 is 0. So everything works out so far. All that's left for me to do is the equation at the bottom. We know the kangaroo is 3. The crocodile is 3, the hippo is 5, and I remember the commutative property of multiplication. You can multiply in any order and get the same answer, so you could go 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 5 is 45, you could go 3 times 5 is 15, and the 3 times 15 is 45. Either way, you'll get the same answer, but it's just important to realize that you can manipulate those numbers in the calculation to make it easier for yourself. Okay, hope you guys worked through that nicely and that you got it correct. If not, go back and make sure you understand any areas where you made mistakes. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions or queries. Your mental arithmetic work for today is the 7 questions on your screen. Work through them slowly and methodically, write everything down, try out different methods that we've spoken about. Perhaps there's one that you might become a lot more comfortable with than others. But whatever method you choose, A, be confident in what you're doing, B, make sure you write it down, and C, make sure you check your work. Right, off you go. Your first question is the addition of decimals, 672,911 at 458,519. And we know that we add normally and we need to carry where necessary. Okay, that's 14. Decimals always line up. Okay, there's quite a lot of carrying in this one today. So that's going to give me 1,131,430. All right. If you want to check that, you could say 1,131,430 subtract 458,519, and then your answer needs to be 672,911. Alternatively, you can take the answer and subtract 672,911 and 458,519 should be your answer. Your second question is subtraction. And we now know, again, all numbers must be in the correct columns. You need to borrow where necessary. And we'll do so. And remember, the decimals must always line up. Okay. 16 minus 9 is 7, 9 minus 4 is 5, and obviously 2 minus 2 is 0. So can we check? Is 8 and 6, we add them together, it needs to give us 14, so yes. And remember, we add because it's the opposite of subtract. 9 and 1 gives me 10, yes. 7 and 9 gives me 16, yes. 5 and 4 gives me 9, and 0 and 2 obviously gives me 2. So I'm quite happy that calculation is correct. Okay, your third question is long multiplication. So 45 multiplied by 63. Okay, and you know that you've got multiple ways of doing these calculations. They're both odd numbers, so you wouldn't use doubling and halving. You could use a split strategy. You could split 45 into 40 and 5, and you could split 63 into 60 and 3. Okay, and we can multiply like this. And we can get 40 times 60 is 2,400. 40 times 3 is 120. 5 times 60 is 300. And 5 times 3 is 15. Then if I add them together, that's 2,700, 135. And that's going to give me 2,835. Okay, if I just add those. All right, you could have also used a column method, okay, and that column method is going to look like this. Okay, 5 times 3 is 15, carry the 1. 3 times 4 is 12, plus that 1 is 13. 0 is really important. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 4 is 24, add the 3 is 27. And if we add that together, we should get the same answer. And we do indeed get 2,835. Okay, so there are a couple of options there for you. And yeah, I encourage you to try out the different methods instead of always using the column method, as there might be one that's you find a lot easier to use. Okay. You're dividing by 5, short division, it's a single digit. Goes in once, carry 2. Goes in 5 times, carry 3. Remember the decimal lines up. Goes in 7 times, carry 4. Okay, goes in 9 times, carry 1. Goes in twice. If we 15,792 multiplied by 5, we should get the number that's under the box. So 5 times 2 is 10, carry the 1. 5 times 9 is 45, plus the 1 is 46, carry the 4. 5 times 7 is 35, plus the 4 is 39, carry the 3. 5 times 5, 25, plus the 3 is 28, carry the 2. And then 5 times 1 plus 2 is 78. And you can see the numbers are the same, so therefore our calculation must be correct. Question 5, addition of fractions with different denominators. So straight away you should be thinking, what is the lowest common denominator of 6 and 3? Okay, and yes, it is 6. 6 goes into 6 once, so 1 times 1 is 1. 3 goes into 6 twice, so 2 times 2 is 4. And that's going to give us an answer of 5 over 6. Okay. Question 6, the division of a decimal number by a multiple of 10. Okay, and this time it's by 100. So we know that when we divide, the number gets smaller. Okay, by 2 places if it's 100. And that answer is going to give me 1,329. And then lastly, we need to do the brackets first. And 10 minus 3 is 7. So 7 times 7 is equal to 49. Okay, I hope you guys remembered those principles that we've gone over extensively over the last few weeks. And if not, let me know and I'll try and explain them moving forward, or try to explain them a little bit better moving forward. Okay, let's get on to our main theme for today, and that's addition and subtraction problem solving. So I thought the best way to do this would be to give you some questions, let you work through it by yourself, and then I'll go through them on the Google Jamboard with you. So the question regarding a gentleman named Neville is your first question, and your second question is when you have 98 Rand. So there are 2 questions on the screen. Just make sure that you read the question carefully, and make sure you check your work. Make sure you do everything that that the question asks of you. Okay, and yeah, let's see how you guys get on. Neville has 850 Rand saved. He buys a new MP3 player costing 235 Rand. How much money does he have left after the purchase? So this is just subtraction. All right. So here what you can do, if you want to do it mentally, you can say 850 minus 200 is 650. 650 minus 35 is going to be 615. So he has 615 Rand left over. If you want to check that, go the other way and say 615 plus 235. It should give you 850. It does. So you know 615 is correct. Unfortunately, Neville loses his 4th school jumper for the year. His mum refuses to pay for another, and now Neville has to cover the cost of 260 Rand himself. So now how much of his savings does he have left? So now we need to take the 615 and subtract 260. Okay? And again, you can say 615 minus 200 is 415, and then 415 minus 60. So I would go 415 minus 15 is 400. And then I need to subtract an additional 45, okay, and that's going to give you 355. So Neville has 355 Rand left over. Remember the check, I go the opposite way, so I can go 355 plus 260. Does it equal 615? It does indeed, and therefore we know that our calculations must be correct. Okay, let's have a look at the second part of that question. You have 98 Rand. The total of the groceries is 67. How much change will you get after you pay for your groceries? So we're looking to do 98 minus 67. Okay, and there are multiple ways of doing this. I could say 98 minus 70. And that's going to give me 28. Okay, but remember now I've subtracted an extra 3, so I need to add 3 on at the end, and that's going to give me 31. Okay, if I now want to check, I must say 31 plus 67, does it give me 98? It does indeed. Okay, the second part of that question, how much will you save if you buy an item on sale that was 76 Rand 95 and is now 68 Rand 99? Okay, so that's another subtraction sum, and now we've got decimals involved. So 76,95 minus 68,99. Right, I'm going to change 68,99 into 69. Okay, because for me, I think that's a lot easier. So I've given an extra 1 cent here, and I can just write that in. Okay, so I'm subtracting an extra cent. This answer over here, we can see quite clearly that it's going to be 7 Rand 95. Okay, but then I need to give them that 1 cent back, and that answer is going to give me 7 Rand 96. Okay, if I add 7.96 and 68.99, I should get 76 Rand 95, and if you do that, you do indeed get 76 Rand 95. Hugo, then Hugo's total grocery bill for subtracting his coupons was 77 Rand 84. If he had 5 Rand 87 in coupons, what was his final bill? Okay, so it's 77.84. He now needs to take off 5 Rand 87. Okay, now you can do this in a column method. There's absolutely no problem with that. Okay, we just got to make sure that we have the numbers in the correct column. Okay, and that's just a case of now borrowing. Decimals must line up, and his final bill now, once he's taken his coupons off, is going to be 71 Rand 97. Remember, we've checked these calculations numerous times. 7 and 7, 14, 9 and 8, 17, 1 and 5, 6, 7 and 0, 7. Okay, we must know that our calculation is correct. Right, the next part of that question. Your mum gives you 50 Rand to go to the bakery to buy morning tea. You buy 3 items at the bakery for a total of 40 Rand 25. You have a discount voucher of 5 Rand and 5 cents. How much change will you get back? So if your total is 40 Rand and 25 cents, you then have a discount voucher of 5 Rand and 5 cents. What I'm going to say to you is turn this into 5 Rand. Okay, so you know you've subtracted 5 cents. Now it could be a lot easier. That's going to be 35 Rand 25. Okay, but now I still need to take an additional 5 cents off. Okay, and that's going to give me 35 Rand 20. Okay, not finished there, because the question at the end says how much change will you get back? So now I need to take that 50 Rand that I had, and I need to take off the 35 Rand 20, because that's what the bill was. So first I'm going to take off 35 Rand, and that's going to give me 15 Rand. And then I'm going to take off the 20 cents, and that's going to give me 14 Rand 80. Okay? Then if you add the 14 Rand 80 and the 35 Rand 20, you get back to the original 50 Rand, and you know that your calculations must be correct. But the key there is to recognize that you need to work out how much change you will get at the end. The number of students that will leave out that last section of the question is quite frightening. So that's why I encourage you guys to read the question more than once, read it slowly, and make sure you realize whether there's more than one calculation to do. Okay, here's your next set of questions. There are 5 of them. Again, I'm going to encourage you to work through them slowly, write down all your calculations, and let's see how you guys get on. Okay, first question. Last month, 1,550 fans supported the local football tournament. This month there are 568 more fans. How many fans supported the local tournament this month? So here we have an addition problem. And yes, you may do it in the column method. Okay, there's not a problem. And we can just add normally. So 2,118. If you want to check that, then please feel free to do so. Okay. If you subtract 2,118 and 568, you should get back to 1,550, and you will get back to 1,550. So that calculation is correct. You could also have done this question by first adding 500 to 1,550. So we could have gone 1,550 plus 500. Okay, that's going to give us 2,050. Then you could have added 60. So that's going to be 2,110. And then you could have added the 8. And that would have given you 2,118. Okay, so it gives you the same answer. And it's just different ways of working it out. But again, I'm going to tell you, you must use a method that you're comfortable and you're confident in. Past 18 months, Chan spent lots of money on computer games. Last year he spent 1,928 Rand, and this year he has already spent 1,562 Rand. How much has he paid for computer games so far? So we're adding 1,928 and 1,562. Now, yes, you can do it in a column method, but I'm going to show you another method, which is the bump strategy that we've been through before. So remember the bump strategy, we want to create friendly numbers. So how do we create friendly numbers using 1,928 and 1,562? Remember, friendly numbers end in 0. So if I take this 2 and I give it to that 8, I'm going to get 1,930. There's my friendly number. And if I've taken 2 off 1,562, I'm left with 1,560. Now, in my opinion, it's a lot easier to add those numbers that end in 0. Okay, but you've got to be able to recognize the numbers that you're working with. And you've got to be able to manipulate those numbers so that you are comfortable and confident in the calculation you're going to do. Okay, and as I said before, you're more than welcome to use a column method. Okay, and there's my answer. And if you had done 1,928 and added the 1,562, you would have got the same answer, 943. You would have got the same answer. Okay, so just make sure you're aware of the different strategies that you can use, and yeah, maybe it will make it a lot easier for you moving forward. Okay, so he spent 3,490 Rand on computer games, which is a bit crazy in my opinion. Okay, let's go on to the next one. And the next one is 6,009 people are at a football match. Sorry, I'm just trying to increase the size of that. 6,009 people are at a football match. There we go. Okay. And 648 people are working at the ground. How many people are there altogether? Okay. So again, it's an addition question. So 6,009 plus 648. Again, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to borrow 2 from 6,009. So I'm going to make it 6,007. And I'm going to make 648 650. So I've taken the 2 from 6,009 and I've given it to 648 to make the sum a little bit easier for myself. Now I'm really comfortable in doing that. 6,007 657. Okay. Yes, you would have got the same answer if you had done the column method, but for me, doing 6007 plus 650 is a heck of a lot easier than doing the column method. Okay. And just remember the column method. You've got to borrow. Make sure you add the correct numbers, and you guys are going to be tired of me saying it, but try the other methods. They could work for you, and they could save you a lot of time and reduce a lot of errors moving forward. Okay. Next question. At the 2006 census, Australia's census is, for those of you guys who don't know, a census is when the entire population fills out a particular form. Okay, they have various questions on them. So anyway, the census in 2006, Australia's population consisted of 9,799,252 males and 10,056,036 females. So what was the total population? And then the second part of the question, how many more females than males were there? So first we need to add, and these are quite big numbers. So for me, the best way to add here is to add in a column method. So 10 million, and remember we've spoken about separating numbers, and I've overinflated the gap just to kind of make it really obvious where I think you should separate the numbers, and to make sure that they're in the correct columns. Okay, and we know we're adding here. Okay, and we just add normally. Make sure the numbers are in the correct columns. Make sure that you are carrying where you need to. Okay, and your answer should be 19,855,288. But your job's not done there, because I now need to know how many more females than males were there. So the first part of the question was addition. The second part of the question was subtraction. So you've got the answer for the addition sum. I'm now going to erase it, and let's have a look at what the answer for the subtraction sum would be. So 6 minus 2 is going to be 4. I cannot do 3 minus 5 or 0 minus 2, so I'm going to have to borrow. So 13 minus 5 is going to give me 8. 9 minus 2 is 7. Okay, I cannot do the 5 minus 9, so again I need to borrow. So 15 minus 9 is 6. I need to borrow from here again. So 14 minus 9 is 5, and 9 minus 7 is 2. Okay? So 256,784. That's how many more females there are, or there were, than males in Australia in 2006. Archie, Molly, and Matilda have a combined mass of 119 kilograms. If Archie weighs 45 kilograms and Molly weighs 2.5 kilograms less than him, how much does Matilda weigh? Second part of the question, Mum weighs 63 kilograms and Dad's mass is Archie's and Matilda's combined. What is the mass of the whole family? Okay, so there's quite a mouthful of questions there, so we need to work through it step by step. So first we have the combined mass of 119 kilograms of Archie, Molly, and Matilda. Archie weighs 45. Molly weighs 2.5 kilograms less than him, so we need to go 45 minus 2.5, and that's 42.5. And now we need to work out how much does Matilda weigh. So we need to add 45 and 42.5. That's going to give us 87.5. And then we need to subtract that and 119. And that will give us Matilda's weight. Remember, we can always add in a 0 there to make the question just look a little bit more sensible and easier. And now we know we need to borrow. Okay, so that 0 becomes 10. Okay, and we can borrow there. And we know that Matilda is going to be 31.5. Now your check strategy there is to add 31,5 to the other two weights, and we need to check, do we get 119 kilograms? Okay, that's going to be 9, and that's going to be 11, and there you got 119. So we know that Matilda is 31,5, and we know that Molly is 42.5. Okay, so I'm just going to write those up there just to save space. And then the second part of the question is, Mom weighs 63 kilograms, and Dad's mass is Archie plus Matilda. Now Archie, if you remember, was 45, and we worked Matilda's weight out to be 31.5. So that means Dad weighs 76.5. Okay? And now they want to know the mass of the whole family. Okay, so now there's a third part to the question. So we need to add 63. And then we also need to add 119, because we know that that's how much the children weighed. Okay? So I always like to do this just so that, you know, there's a decimal for each number, and again, it just looks a little bit easier for me. So 0, 5, and 0 is 5. Decimal in the same place. That's going to be 18. Okay, that's 15. And that's 258.5 kilograms. That's the combined weight or combined mass of the whole family. So guys, quite a mouthful to end off on. My advice is to read the question more than once, as I've said before, and to chop it up into the various calculations. So first we had to work out Molly and Matilda's weight. We checked that answer straight away. Then we worked out Dad's mass. We had to add Archie and Matilda together. And then we had to add all of those weights of Mom, Dad, and of all three children, and we got a combined mass of 258.5 kilograms. Guys, that brings us to the end of our lesson and to our challenge of 24. By now you know that you need to use all the numbers on each card and a combination of the operational signs to get to an answer of 24, and see how many different ways you can get that answer of 24. Reminder of the email address on your screen to send me any queries, feedback, suggestions, or requests, and I'll be happy to fulfill those with you. Grade 6s, thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you guys learned a bit about problem solving, reading questions carefully, checking your work, making sure you do everything that's been asked of you. Go back through the lesson, have a look at the online activity with Memo just to practice a bit of your problem solving skills, and yeah, keep safe, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. All the best.